Good morning, collective. Happy Thursday. Today, I'm going to do a 3-card spread um, using the True Emotions Oracle deck. We like to hear what our spiritual ancestors, the great divine, guardian angels, would like to tell us on today. It's early, you guys. I literally got up, took me a shower, did my morning hygiene. And for me, I actually enjoy doing my readings when I am, what I would say, purified, clean, you know, all fresh. So as we continue, we ask the great divine to come off into the room and guide this reading only in the way that he can. We look to our spiritual ancestors to rebuke any negative thoughts, any negative energy. We ask the Holy Spirit to endow us with her wisdom. And we look to the angels to guide us with their kind words on this day, as they do on every day. So the first card that came out is Rejected. We need 2 more cards. And now we need 1 more card to complete the 3-card spread. 1 more card. What do the oracles have to tell us on today? Right. So the first card that came out was Rejected. Right. Rejected can be a sense of being ghosted, being turned off. As you can see, the individual kind of has their hands up, like, I'm not going to be bothered with you, I'm done with you, I'm over with you, so on and so forth. Second cards may be bumping heads. There may be a reason why the rejection occurred, right? You and said person may have been getting into it a lot. You probably wasn't in alignment, in agreement. Wasn't on the same page. And sometimes we try to force relationships, regardless if they're platonic or not, to kind of stay infringed together, even when they should not be together at all. I like to remind everyone that everybody is not supposed to go on this journey with you as you move forward through this matrix called life. The great divine puts us in a position where he will remove what should no longer serve us or what no longer serves us in our lives. So a lot of times if you're in a relationship, again, platonic or not, a lot of times if you're constantly arguing, bumping heads, not in alignment, don't feel like you're on the same page with one another, it may be a reason that this great divine is trying to separate the two of you. Things sometimes get harder and harder and harder when you're in a place or in a position where you're not aligned, right? So the next card that came out is Running. So in this card, it's actually 2 people. I can't tell. It looks like they're holding hands, running out into a field. You can digest this card as if without just focusing on the word of running. A lot of times, when things get difficult in our lives, be it relationships, be it work related, be it just life in general, we choose to run away from it. I would never encourage you to stay in things that are draining you from the person that you truly are, right? But I will say that everything is not meant for you to run away from, right? If this reading is speaking on relationship driven, and this is going to sound so harsh, but I don't know how else to put it. As I stated, everyone is not supposed to stay with you. I am a person who believes, because I know the great divine has a plan for me, that the right relationship is not going to be a chaotic relationship, right? I don't think relationships are supposed to be that difficult if you're aligned, right? Um, that's just in my mind. Biblically, the Bible says a man is supposed to love his woman as Jesus loved the church. And that's why I feel like ultimately relationships are not supposed to be as difficult, right? It also talks about how a woman should provide service to their man. I am one who kind of hate the word of submission when it's pointed toward both one gender. I believe that submission is supposed to be that of both parties in the relationship. I believe that a man is to submit to a woman just as much as a woman should to submit to a man in order for a relationship to work, right? And, we interpret the Bible how we want to interpret it, but if you actually read it and dig down off into different sections of it, yes, there's sections of how in Proverbs, I want to say Proverbs 31, when it talks about how a woman builds up her man and provides to her man and all that kind of stuff. And then further, when you go into the New Testament and it talks about how Jesus loved the church and how a man should treat his woman, no one really wants to read that section of the Bible. They always want to focus on Proverbs. So again, in a relationship, if this is talking about a relationship between two individuals, I believe that relationships aren't supposed to be chaotic. That's just in my mind. By it saying that you're bumping heads, leads me to believe that in this moment you're not getting along. I'm not saying that there's never going to be any difficulties in a relationship, because there will. But if there is a situation where there is manipulation, where there is abuse emotionally, physically, financially, in any of those matters that is truly causing harm, hurt, or danger to either party, I don't think that's a relationship one should be off into. But if it's just where maybe you guys are not truly on the same page in this moment and it's something that you can work through, I believe that that's something that you shouldn't run from. I do think that there are things that you can work out. But since the reading started off with being rejected, it leads me to believe that there's a little bit more going on that needs to be taken into consideration. And then if by it ending with running, it leads me to believe that whoever did the rejection has shown to run from whatever it is that is truly going on. That being said, our hard truth is perseverance. And it says, where you stop is where you will end up. Keep going and expanding until you have reached beyond your goals. You are on the right track. So this is telling me that you ultimately have to do what's best for you, right? Whatever that track, that path is, you have to choose the right path for you. If someone chooses to reject you, if someone chooses to leave your life, you're exactly where you're supposed to be in this moment. And the oracle, the hard truth, is telling you to stay on that path. In other words, if someone chooses to move around, let them, right? Don't go chasing after them. Don't go looking for them. Don't go calling on them. Allow that person, did a card flip? No. Allow that person to do exactly what he or she has chosen to do. And if running is part of that scenario, honey, open the door and lock that motherfucker behind them. I'm just keeping it a buck with you. So let's see what our angel numbers have to say about this. And then we'll get into the tarot. 60-60, like-minded. And again, like-minded. Support, like-minded, inspire, advice. Surround yourself with a supportive network of like-minded individuals who can inspire and motivate you. Share your dreams and goals with them and seek their advice and guidance. Again, this goes back to me saying that everybody is not supposed to be in your life. Everybody is not supposed to be on this journey via this matrix with you. Some people you are guided to let go of, right? And sometimes the great divine takes the approach of clearing out the clutter in your life to allow like-minded people to enter into it, right? And I feel like in this scenario, in this reading, based off of the original spread, that's kind of what's happening. Like if people or person is choosing to leave your life, it was meant to be, ultimately. And it's okay. You have to look at it as a blessing. As the great divine may have been protecting you from something. There may have been something in the world that those individuals or that person felt was better aligned for them. And since we can't choose the path for others and we can only walk the path that is given to us, who are we to dictate if a person chooses to move around or not? Splitting the deck in two. The cards at the bottom of the deck is the Queen of Wands and the Moon, right? I love the Wands. If anyone would tell you it's a fire sign, it's the Leos. I'm a Leo, so I kind of gravitate to the Wands. The Queen of Wands, though, even though it's a Leo, the Queen of Wands is a mixture of Leo and Libra. So she's the one who brings balance into a relationship. She's a confident, independent individual, and she's determined, right? She knows that when someone walks out of your life, it's a sudden hit, right? It's a sudden unknown, like you're curious about why. And you may look at yourself and say, well, what did I do wrong? Why did this happen? Because rejection, no one wants to be rejected by anyone or any person or anything. But the Queen of Wands is telling you to be courageous, right? Put yourself back in a position where your courage and balance of life aligns. And what that typically look like, because she's so strongly focused on independence, is meaning that you need to focus on yourself in this moment and at this time. So the moon is all about illusions, right? Mystery. And this is ultimately about the unknown. And this goes back to me saying that we can't dictate the path that the individual or individuals took when they chose to run or reject you. We can't dictate that. We have to be accepting of it, right? It's going to always be a mystery. But no, at the end of the day, somewhere in this relationship or said relationships, someone was feeding you some type of illusion. That's why you have the two dogs howling at the moon. You see a path, and you see this like lobster thing coming up out the water, eventually getting up on that path, going off into the mountains. You may never know what their choice is or their choices were, but we have to be accepting of what it was and just move on, move forward, right? Don't let it keep us in that pit. One thing you have to keep in mind about the tarot cards that I want to point out to you is that even though the Queen of Wands is a high minor, right, when it comes to tarot, the moon is a major arcana when it comes to tarot. So this completely tells you that whatever this relationship was, the individual was feeding you illusions. Period, point blank. The queen is out because the queen is telling you that, sister, I know what you've been through. Or brother, I understand how you felt. But in this moment, we're going to be courageous right now. We're going to govern ourselves in a way that brings us back into balance, that brings us back into love, that brings us back into a place where we have a zest for life, because we can't hinge our entire life and our entire decisions on what one individual or multiple individuals have chose to do. Right? So what else does the tarot have to tell us for this reading? What additional thoughts does the tarot have to share with us for the purpose of this reading? Thank you. I'm going to take that one because it was about to flip. One additional thoughts that the tarot have to tell us for this reading. Woo. So the card at the bottom of the deck is now the Five of Wands. This person or individual may have placed you in a competitive situation, right? We already know that you guys are bumping heads. But the Five of Wands talks about constant conflict, disagreement. So it's providing more confirmation that the relationship or relationships that you were in was not aligned, that there were obviously a lot of tension in that situation or in that scenario. And if it wasn't there already, it was definitely about to get there, right? You just see five people in a scenario just battling each other when it comes to the wands, right? And the Five of Wands upright talks about competition, rivalry, conflict, disagreement, strife, and tension. Those are the true definitions of the card. Essentially, it's all about instability. Someone may have been exaggerating a lie. All types of things, right? But my Shananai is telling me that this person had likely put you in a conflicting, a competing situation, right? Whether it was with another person or persons, just in general. So the first tarot card that came out in this reading is the Five of Cups in reverse. The Five of Cups shows three cups laying down and an individual walking away from two. Essentially, this is reminding you that you need to accept whatever decision has been made by the other person, right? It's telling you to essentially move on. There was a loss, yes. They moved on, yes. So you need to just pick up the two cups that you have left and keep moving forward in your life, because everything is going to come together eventually, right? This is one of the reasons, and I'm just going to say it. People might not like to hear me say this, but this is one of the reasons why you don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I'm not talking about being with multiple people. I am talking about when it comes to relationships, men and or women, it is very important for you to be whole and have a sense of independence first, healed independence, before you jump into a scenario or situationship or relationship with someone else. Because when someone chooses to walk out your life, they will leave you with two funky cups, ultimately. But if you have all your stuff together and you're already at the point of being established and not throwing all your eggs in the basket of someone else, if someone was to walk out your life, you'd be able to just pick up your stuff. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm back. What was I saying? Yeah. And then you don't have to worry about if someone chooses to walk out your life. You already have your pieces of the puzzle together. When they move around, you just get up and go and continue to persevere. Is things gonna be easy? No, because now you have extra responsibilities. If someone leaves you with two cups, that means that they've probably left you in a compromising situation where you have to get back on your feet And it's going to cause a lot of work, right? It's going to cause strife. It's going to cause frustration. It's going to cause a headache. There's going to be some burdens there, but because there are 10 cups or 10 wands, 10 equals completion as well. So this leads me to believe that this is something that you're going to come out of quickly. You may have to take some time to yourself, rest, relax, evaluate the situation, meditate on the situation, think about things that you have, lessons that you have learned out of the situation, so you won't place yourself back into a similar situation. That's always very important, to take time for yourself. Don't be one of those individuals who chooses to go from pillow to post, but be one of those individuals that actually takes this time as someone walk away to invest in you, learn to love you, learn to appreciate you, to become that whole individual. Because I've said it once and I've said it again. Biblically, the Bible says, cast your trust upon Him, the Lord, the great divine, not upon people. So if you ever find yourself back into a situation and you have all of your stuff together and there's a chance that someone else walks out your life, you won't find yourself in the same situation as the last person, because you've done that shadow work. You've looked into yourself. You've learned to evaluate. You've learned to appreciate who you are as a person. And you'll be able to set up better and more boundaries, just in general. Well, lastly, you've created yourself. You've looked at yourself. And now you have more of this abundance and nurturing personality, just in general. Like, it's always important to take time out when you leave a relationship, or when someone has left you in a relationship, to rebuild who you are, right? To focus on you, just in general, so you can come out in that empress mentality at the end. Because ultimately, when you're ready to pop back out there, you don't want to pop back out as if you're victimized. You want to pop back out as a whole person, an individual who can clearly stand on their own, an individual who has their stuff together, and an individual who's ready to just ultimately move forward in life, whether it's moving forward in life alone, or if the great divine has brought you someone new, you're still a whole individual by yourself. So let's see what the Grimoire of Wisdom Oracle has to tell us. Oh, Grimoire of Shadows. I'm sorry, the Oracle cards that I'm working with now. Honey, these, I'm going to get the name of these oracles right. I love them so much because they're so cute, but I'm always messing up the name. So we just need one word of advice from Grimoire of Shadows. One word of advice. Ooh, ooh. Had two that flipped. So we're going to go ahead and take them both. So the first one is Fire Invocation. Your inner flame is alive and powerful. Let passion move through you. Create boldly and trust in your sacred fire. Again, trust in you. At the end of this relationship, after you sit and go through all the heartache, the pain, the regrowth, the rebirth, the fire burns within you, not within anyone else. So you have to trust in yourself, in your own sacred fire as you move forward as the Empress. And then we have Forest Spirit. The Forest Spirit speaks in the whisper of renewal. Breathe with nature. Its rhythm will quiet your mind and hear your soul. So this goes back to taking time out for yourself, meditating on the things that has happened in the past relationship, understanding your lessons learned out of that relationship, and being able to move forward with more realistic boundaries for yourself. And again, I'll read that again because I felt like I was a little tongue-tied. So it's Forest Spirit. The forest speaks in whispers of of renewal. Breathe with nature. Its rhythm will quiet your mind and heal your soul. So take time out for yourself. Don't force yourself to jump back off into anything else. And lastly, we're going to close with the abundant attraction. And again, abundant attraction meanings are based off colors, right? This is actually my favorite deck to close with now. If I can get the others back in the box. And this here is more of a fiery black color. And the meaning of this card reveals energetic blockage in unresolved karmic cycles, guiding you to recognize and release what may be hindering your manifestation. So it talks about lineage of limitations, and it tells you that you are not bound to repeat the patterns of your family lineage. Free yourself from inherited limitations and step into your own truth. A lot of times, as we come up in life, we're raised as individuals that are taught by our parents, by their parents, by their forefathers, and so on and so forth. So we just pick up habitual natures of what we've learned throughout our lives, what we've lived through, what we've seen, so on and so forth. And I think ultimately this card is telling you to be the one that breaks that family curse. Don't waddle in it. Don't let your lineage and your understanding of what that was limit you from being the best version of yourself that you can be. Namaste.